Okay. I've heard it can be forgiven. Yes, it can. So loan proceeds used during the covered period, which is the 8 weeks, starting on the loan origin date for payroll costs. Once again, the same that I just discussed on the previous slide. The interest portion of a mortgage on real or personal property and rent. You have to have had those leases and things in place before February 15th. So you can't go out and say, you know, raise your rent to cover it or anything like that. The lease had to be in place or the mortgage had to be in place prior to February 15th. It also covers utilities listed there. You can see, once again, in place before February 15th. It is called the Paycheck Protection Program for a reason. And the forgiveness is based on keeping the same amount of people employed at the same pay rate. The rules are somewhat complicated, but if you just understand the intent behind the rule, it's to keep people employed. They're going to loan you the money, and if you use it to keep people employed, it's going to be forgiven. If you reduce the number of full-time, FTE is full-time equivalents, basically the number of full-time employees that you have employed, or if you cut people on the payroll, you're not going to be eligible for full forgiveness. So for example, let's say you had 25 people on your payroll when this thing started and you lay off 12 people. Well, you're not going to be able to get the entire thing forgiven. They're going to use that ratio. Or if you keep all 25 people, but you cut their pay in half, once again, you're not going to be eligible to have the whole thing forgiven. Now, you'll see there on the slide, you have until June 30th to restore the number of full-time equivalents and salary levels if you had already laid off people. Let's say your business was shut down and you didn't have any money and you had to lay some people off. So you do have an opportunity to restore those employees and salary levels prior to June 30th and possibly still be eligible for full forgiveness. Right now, the rule, there's no more than 25% of the forgiven amount can be those non-payroll costs like utilities, rent, mortgage, those type of things. No more than 25%.